Now, as COP26 draws closer, let's delve further into the negotiations that certainly will take place and, of course, the opportunities for Africa this year. We're now joined by Dr. Asha Mohammed. She is the Secretary General at the Kenya Red Cross Society. Great to have you on the show with us, Ms. Asha. Now, despite contributing less than 5% of the world's greenhouse gas emissions, we know that Africa now carries the heaviest burden in regards to climate change and its effects. Now, African leaders are calling on richer nations to do more, certainly make Africa a priority this year and a major part of the agenda at the COP26. What are your expectations?
Thank you very much. And yes, very important timing. A lot has already been going on, and we have seen the devastating impacts of climate change on the African continent. And my expectation really is that in the discussions at COP26, that we will bring the reality of what is on the ground to this discussion so that we can relate actually some of these global commitments to the reality on the ground. Already very many people are affected, and it is a reality we're dealing with. So how to balance dealing with the effects of the climate change as it is, and also committing to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and working on the global perspective.
Well, some believe that developed nations have already fallen short by at least $20 billion US. That means the promise they made to raise about $100 billion a year to support climate change adaptation and, of course, mitigation in vulnerable nations. Are there any clear plans this time around for how this deficit will be met, and certainly any additional funding plans that Africa may be looking to get?
Well, I think we are hoping to hear from the nations that will be attending this conference in terms of, what priorities they are going to make. Yes, we understand that there are many other needs globally, but it's about prioritizing what will make the difference, because we may not have necessarily all the money that is required today because a lot has happened, but how do we prioritize even whatever is available and ensure that a good amount of resources is actually channeled to the issue of climate change so as to actually make a difference? So I think as Africa, we will be expecting to see some tangible commitments in terms of addressing this.
Well, on that note, at this year's COP26, countries will be launching their adaptation goals and, of course, adopt strategies for achieving those goals. So what opportunities do you think African countries have to sort of shape the agenda this time around?
I'm hoping that Africa can bring the experiences of what we are going through today, and hopefully this can be helped by the fact that the effects of climate change have also been seen in other continents, in other parts of the world. We've seen that in America, we've seen it in Europe, and we hope that when Africa talks about the vulnerabilities that are being seen, that this is not going to be something out of this world, that everyone can relate to what actually this means, and therefore hopefully that will bring some seriousness into this discussion.
Some African countries are playing their part when it comes to the transition to cleaner energy. We know Morocco has taken the lead globally in the production of solar energy. Kenya is now harnessing geothermal energy. What are your thoughts on the progress that Africa as a whole and Kenya is making when we're trying to transition to that cleaner energy going forward?
I think it's very encouraging that a lot of the countries on the continent are going in this direction. And yes, for Kenya, we see a lot of progress, including even the use of solar more, because this is something we can talk about as of abundance in Africa, and therefore we need to be able to harness this, to use this for a lot of our systems as opposed to using fuel. So it's encouraging, but for sure it needs a lot more investment. And I think this is where African nations need support to be able to make this change happen.